Hey, it's Jason with Denwerks. Got something pretty cool today. 1962 Studebaker Champ. Really neat rig. You know, very unique. You know, you don't see these very often at all. And I've always really liked them. You know, they use the Lark front end, you know, off of their cars, and then used a Dodge bed. They made a contract with Dodge. So they're really unique, and if you know me from Bring a Trailer, I like interesting things and things you don't see, you know, that often. And mostly I like, you know, rigs that you can actually use. You know, there's a purpose behind them, and you can actually get out and enjoy. And, you know, you can take to car shows and Cars of Coffee and stuff, and people go, wow, what is that? Never seen one of those before. So this will be the first one that I believe that's been on Bring a Trailer. And I think they had a flatbed one or something recently, but this is the first one with, you know, with the bed and everything on it. So we'll just walk around it here and show you some different stuff about it. It's actually a pretty clean little guy. I like the color of the paint. You know, the wooden racks look cool. Yeah, but just a real nice stock rig. So it's got a 289 Gran Turismo Hawk engine in it. It's a 64 engine, so it's got a lot of power and, you know, fun to drive. So we'll take it out for a spin here in a little bit, but I was going to go ahead and show you the lights. You can see the marker lights are working. We've got headlights, we've got bright lights, and we got blinkers. Might have to turn the key on. There we got our left, and we got our right. And so we'll just go ahead and show you. I think they probably had a couple versions, you know, probably a deluxe and then a base, but this one has a chrome grille. I think some of them might have been painted. You can look across the front of it. Looks in pretty nice shape. You know, you can see a couple little scratches, a couple little chips that have been touched up in general. The chrome looks pretty good, but you're going to see some little pitting here, you know, across the front, a little bit of crazing, you know, from age. You know, the rig is really a nice driver. You can see a little bit of, on the bumpers, not perfect. You know, I think they probably had a maybe a license plate, maybe in the center here, but not sure where these chips happen. But actually, the license plate actually goes here, and if you look back behind here, I don't have a license plate for it. The bracket is sitting underneath there, so if you get a license plate for it, you can flip it up here, and it's got the tabs sitting there. But, you know, or maybe they just scraped it here, I'm not sure. You'll see a couple little dings right there, but overall, you know, the bumper looks good. And it's kind of interesting, and I was talking about the Studebaker Lark. If you look at this indention here, you know, obviously the car was a lot lower, and actually the car bumper would go up in here in the indention, so they actually lowered the bumpers on these rigs. You know, when you look down the side, it looks actually pretty nice and straight, and you can see a little bit of waves, but nothing major that stands out. You know, it's definitely one that you can take to a car show and enjoy, but at the same time, if you got a little chip on it or something like that, you're not going to cry either. But overall, it looks really nice. I see Stanley finally showed up, and he's tired, so had to yawn. So anyways, we'll just walk down the side here and take a look. The tires are really new. Actually, they're 235/75 15s. We've been driving it around, so they're a little dirty right now. Original hubcaps. You know, the bottom of the fenders, the doors, all look really good in general. You can see, you know, little sanding scratches and stuff around the trim, around the window. You know, you'll notice little just different things about it, but structurally, you know, it's really good. You can see there's no rust in the gutters. You know, very clean. I was going to look across the bottom of the rocker. It looks really nice. You know, the bottom of the cab. I think this side there was a little bubble right there on the bottom of the cab, but you look at the rest of the cab, it actually looks really clean. And you can see, I think there was a little tiny Yeah, I can't even see it now. There was a little tiny blister on the paint. Oh, right there in the door, little tiny spot. You can just see right there. Pretty superficial, but you know what's there. You can see a little chip right there. Sometimes if you see me pointing my hand, it's just, you know, I'm just pointing at little tiny things. You know, look around the wheel lip. You know, it's not rusty. You know, body lines look really good. You know, the wood, just a nice touch. We'll look down the side and the back. You know, again, it looks nice and clean. They integrated a bumper hitch back here, you can see, and they put a reinforcement back behind. But one thing when they did that, you know, they didn't put a little drain down here, so you'll see right here on the bumper there's a little rust spot going across there, and that probably needs to be cut out and fixed. And you can see here another little spot, but again, it's pretty easy to fix that, but you don't notice it when it's, you know, obviously sitting here. So if you look here, there's a little spot there. You know, look across the filler panel, it looks good. You know, tailgate looks nice. We'll probably flip it around here so you can, you know, get a little better look at it in general with the sun on it. So we'll go ahead and flip it around here and so you can take a look. Hey, here we are. We just flipped it around here so you can see it, you know, just a little bit better in the light. So we'll go ahead and turn your tail lights on. We got lights, we got brake lights, and then we got blinkers. We got your left, we got our right there. You know, if you look down the side, you know, it's, you know, again, it's pretty straight and looks nice. You're gonna see a few little waves, nothing really major on an old pickup. A little bit of waves. You see a little bit of waviness here, but overall looks really clean and just a nice looking truck. You can look at the tailgate and stuff. It all looks good. We'll take pictures. You know, if you look underneath here, you know, you can actually, you know, the bed rail is actually really nice on the truck. I'll show you it. We'll take these off when we're looking inside the bed in general. But you look around the wheel lips back here on the bed, really nice, no bubbles or anything. And one thing I was going to note here too, see the sliding rear window? Those, we'll operate those in a minute, but Studebaker was the first truck to actually have a side rear sliding window, and you can see they're split in half. So unlike today where you have a little tiny window in the middle, these actually slide back and forth. So pretty cool idea. You can see here the back of the cab looks really good. Bottom of the rocker looks great on it. You know, the bottom of the fender, you know, it's not rusty. So actually really clean. We'll put it up on my lift so you can see it a little bit better too. Actually, I didn't catch it right here in the sun. I knew it was there. I was kind of looking, but you can see little tiny blisters there in the fender. But again, it's pretty superficial there. You can also see here when they painted it, you can see in there on the rubber gasket a little bit of paint on the gasket. You know, you look at the tires and stuff, they look in good shape. Around the wheel lip, it looks nice. Go ahead and look at the gutter. Here again, it's really a nice shape. You can see here on the trim, a couple little dings, little scratches, and little scratches on top of the trim there. Mirrors look good. Windshield looks really good. And no chips or cracks or anything in it. So we'll go ahead and turn her off and we'll show you some more stuff. we're going to go ahead and take a look at the interior. You can actually see the door shuts nice. You know, all the body lines seem to look pretty good on it. I actually love the way the dash looks on this thing. It kind of curves around there and rolled on the top. Really cool. This area where it says Champ would have been where a radio would have went, and I believe probably a speaker right there in that area. It's got a couple aftermarket gauges, oil pressure and voltmeter. You can see the horn. You can see the couple little cracks on the steering wheel right here. Pretty common in a lot of vintage cars. Odometer looks good. You can see a little of the black. It's actually, there was probably more black here, it just kind of wore off there. But overall, looks pretty nice. If you look inside the door jamb, looks in good shape. See here on this side, this is the original VIN tag here, the E5133954. The apron looks, or the inner jambs look in pretty good shape. You can see the door. You know, the door panels and the seat, they coated them together. You can see it has a little bit of wear, a little bit of wrinkle to it, but they look nice and comfortable, you know, when you're driving it around. You can see here, all looks in pretty good shape. You can see some kind of little bubbles right there. But overall, pretty nice. I love those windows still that I was showing you earlier. I'll show you from this side. I mean, imagine how much air can, you know, go through there while you're driving around. Headliner's a little bit loose, you can see there, but it's all there. You could probably have it stretched and tightened. So we'll go ahead and hop on the other side. Here we are on the passenger side. Just wanted to show you real fast, basically the same thing on the other side, but just wanted to show you this view on this side. You can see here, this is a USB port, you know, that someone put in it. I don't know if probably the cigarette lighter was there originally. They just put a newer one there because it's obviously above the cigarette ashtray. We look up underneath the dash. It looks in nice shape. Hasn't been butchered or anything like that. You can see this cardboard on the firewall. The sound deadeners, you know, gotten pretty worn. Carpets look pretty good, you know, but they are a little bit older, but they look nice. You can see inside the jamb. You know, on some of the prep, on the outside it looks great, but some of the prep they should have sanded off a little better around this edge, you know, feathered that out. The outside of the truck looks good, but in some of the jams and stuff, they could have probably cleaned up some of that better when they painted it. You know, especially right in here, they could have sanded this. You know, but overall it looks good. You can see all the original spot welds and stuff. The rubber looks in good shape all the way around. You can see here. So I'll just check the door panel out on this side real quick. A couple little blisters in the corners there. We'll take pictures underneath the doors so you can see, but you can see here they're actually pretty solid. So we'll go ahead and take her for a spin, show you some other things. We're going to put it up on my lift and see you later. Okay, we're going to take a look underneath the hood. It's actually got a prop rod, you can see here, and it attaches right there. But and you know, it's kind of nice where the lever is really easy, and you push right there. You know, it's a safety catch. So, you know, the engine compartment looks really clean. You know, overall, I mentioned before, it's a '64 Gran Turismo Hawk engine. It's a 289, and you know, it looks good underneath there. We put valve covers, gaskets on it. There's pictures of the rockers and stuff, and we went ahead and painted the valve covers and painted the the engine just detailed a little bit, just make it look a little nice. It didn't look bad before, but we just touched it up a little bit. You can see the radiator's original, you know, 1554341 is the radiator number. And it's kind of interesting because the block number is actually close to that number. It's 1554641, and that's really interesting how close that is. And so we'll just go ahead and walk around it here just so you can see inside here. You can see the aprons and stuff look really, really clean. There's not any spots where it's been hit or damaged or anything like that. One thing you'll see right here, see these original spot welds? You know, these fenders are spot welded to it. This fender has been off at some point, and you can see they have a little rivet. They probably welded it but kept it in place before they did it. There's rivets right here that aren't factory. So this fender was probably taken off at some point or replaced for some reason. But you can actually see where they welded it on the edges here, actually. But they probably put those in here just to keep it in place while they did that. But I don't see any accident damage on the inner aprons. They actually really, really clean. So, you know, maybe something happened to the fender at some point. You can see actually in here the original spot welds, you know, on the firewall apron area. But there's an original tag. You can see these spot welds in there too. So overall, everything seems to be in pretty good order. Here, the front of the radiator support all looks really good. No crinkles or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and start it up so you can see it. See, it runs. It actually runs pretty smooth. You know, sounds nice. Go ahead and rev it up a little bit. You can hear a little bit of valve clatter and stuff, but nothing alarming. You just hear the rockers a little bit. So, but overall, you know, it runs really good. Very, very smooth. You can see it has an alternator. It's a 2-barrel carburetor on it, but it's definitely got a lot of, you know, get up and go. Pretty peppy for what it is. So we'll go ahead and show you some more stuff. Okay, I just wanted to show you how easy these were to take out if you wanted to take them out. You know, you just lift it off there. So it's, you know, pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and look at the bed. I'm going to have Nolan hop in there and show you how the windows slide open. But you can see here the bed is really in pretty good shape. It's not rusty or anything like that. Actually really clean. You can see here how it's kind of wavy, you know, from hauling loads, kind of in between the support beams. There's a support beam right here and then one right here. So you can see how it kind of dips down. You can see that, you know, so it's nothing you're gonna fix. I mean, it's just the way it is. Yeah, but it doesn't hurt anything. Let's go ahead and show the windows. See how the windows slide open? I mean, that's actually pretty cool. And, you know, that's a lot of air come through there. We'll slide the other one open too. You know, I don't even remember any other trucks of this vintage back in the day that had rear sliding windows at all. Usually it was like an aftermarket thing, but this was actually a factory option in these. So that's actually really, really unique to these. So, and again, I was mentioning the top of the rail. You know, it's not all scratched up or anything like that. Actually, let's go ahead and take that one off there so we can see that. And then we'll put the tailgate down at the same time. There we go. So we'll go ahead, you just flip these off and then reconnect the chain in here. Yeah, if I knew what I was doing. Trying to do this one hand's not too smart. There we go. Just flip it like that. So anyways, there's another little shot the bed in general. You can see here all the original spot welds all look pretty good. You know, overall it's not really a restored truck. You know, it's something that was built to be driven, and so it's more of a kind of a show driver, you know, because it's going to have different imperfections and different things, you know, on the truck in general. Cruising around with this. We're out cruising around in the 62 Studebaker. You know, it's just a really nice driving truck actually. It's got plenty of power. It's got 289, you know, underneath the hood. Out of a Gran Turismo Hawk. I believe I mentioned that earlier, but you know, you can actually feel, you know, the power, you know, of this truck. So I love living out here where I'm at now. You know, a lot of windy roads and stuff. Totally out in the country, which is really nice. And you know, it's just nice to drive our cars a little bit and not have to drive very far to be out here like this. So anyways, we'll cruise around, show you some more stuff here in a little bit. You can see, I just wanted to show you a few things. You know, the horn works. You can see the wipers, they work. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but here's the fan for the heater, and the control for the heater is over here. Light switch. It's a 3-speed manual. You can see the temp gauge and the gas gauge works. Speedometer is working. Odometer is working as well. If you look here on the gauges, this is nice. You got about 65 psi, and that's the voltmeter there. But you know, pretty Spartan in here. But I mean, it's a truck. So it's kind of nice to have the glove box right there in the middle. You know, so many other rigs have stuff over there. So we'll go ahead and drive around a little bit more. You can check out the scenery, and we'll see you in a bit. Hey, here we are. We're going to take a look underneath the Studebaker. You know, anytime I look at a car, in general, I'll spend about 5 minutes on the outside, then I hop underneath and take a look. You know, structure is really important on a vintage car, even a newer car, you know, depending on where you live. So, you know, you're still going to see the still photos and everything, you know, that you can look at, but I just, you know, kind of like doing a video. Pardon the mess in here. We're converting this old car barn, equestrian barn, into our car shop. We've even got a chicken. So I haven't wanted to move him out yet because he seems pretty nice, and Stanley chases him all over the place, so it's kind of his new buddy. So we'll just walk around here from the front to the back. You'll see here on the tires very, very little wear on them. You can actually see the nubs still on the tires, so I'm going to call these 99.9% tread on them. And the size, I think I already pointed that out, but they're 235 75 15s, and they're in pretty nice shape, and probably bought in the last few years. I was kind of looking at the date. Yeah, 2000, I believe that's 2016. So we'll just walk through here and check out everything. You know, the brake lines, you know, a little dusty and stuff, but they look good. I haven't seen any cracks. You will see pictures. The brakes are all new, at least done probably in the last couple of years, and we checked all the cylinders and everything, so you'll see pictures of the hubs off and everything, and we re-greased the hubs, checked out the brakes, and it actually does stop really nice. We'll go ahead and look here. This brake line is in great shape too. You can hear the chicken cackling up there, wondering if we're gonna video her again. You know, the oil pan gasket, everything looks good. You can see here there was a little dent there at some point. We did change the oil in it, and we actually serviced the transmission. This date I put on these is 9/18. You know, we drained the fluid and put new fluid and everything in it. Haven't seen any major leaks or anything like that. There was a couple little drips coming off these, and so we took them out and cleaned them and retightened them. And we changed the valve cover gaskets on it as well. So, you know, everything looks fairly clean. You can see it's got a true dual exhaust. You can see the dual pipes. We've got the mufflers both running out. You know, I didn't change them. Sometimes I will, but you can see the mufflers right in the back. You know, this one's starting a little bit, but this one here has a hole in it. Probably could use 2 new mufflers. Might be able to patch that and fix it, but for now, I mean, I think I'd probably just leave it. It's not loud or anything like that. You know, structurally in good shape. The frame looks really nice. You know, I haven't seen any rust on the frame. You can see these original splash aprons are in here, which is pretty cool. You know, the footboards look good. You know, the floor pans looking nice shape. I don't know, I was gonna look on the other side. This part has been replaced here at some point. We'll look over here on the other side. You know, I think both of those been replaced, but they could be factory, but I don't think so. I can see a little bit of seam sealer right there, so those have been replaced. You know, this side, the rocker, looks really nice. You know, no rust, very, very clean. Look at the back of the cab, no bubbles on this side. On the other side, there's a couple. You know, everything looks real clean. One little, kind of cutting little bubbles there. It looks actually pretty superficial. You can see this rocker on the inside. There's a little bit of rust, actually really minor, right here and right up here. Those would actually be pretty easy to fix if you wanted to down the road. Most importantly though, the body mounts and everything look real good on it. A little bit here in this bottom rocker. Again, it's probably not going to rust anymore. You can see the water just runs through here. You know, there's nothing clogging those or anything like that. So probably what happened is dirt and debris got in there, and when they you know, it just stayed in there and it just kind of rusted that. But if you can see the other side of the rocker, it looks really, really good. Pinch welds look good. Right here in the bottom of the cab, you can see that bigger bubble. You know, again, pretty minor. You don't see it up here. You know, this is just a really nice driver and really in good shape. I really enjoy these rigs a lot. You can see the gas tank right here. The U-joints and everything, you know, they're dirty but seem tight and look good. So we'll go back here to the back of the bed. You can see it's got a spare tire, not the same brand. The tire, it's an older tire, but we had it down and there's some little light cracking, you know, on it, but it's good enough for a spare. You know, the rear end, again, we did take the brakes off and stuff and inspect them, and they look good. We have a picture of the rear end housing off. You can see the gear ratio there, 427. You know, that's when we re-gasketed this and everything, so, and we went ahead and painted it. You can look at the shocks. Usually I put shocks on rigs, but these shocks are really nice. You know, the front and the back look really good and fairly new, so I didn't replace those. You can look back inside here. The other thing I was going to point out too is I haven't seen any accident damage on this. Everything looks really clean. You know, haven't seen any, you know, butt ends or anything like that. Let's see here. You know, again, it looks really clean. You know, up here inside the wheel wells and stuff. You know, when we were looking at the bottom of the or the back of the bed earlier. You know, you can see the back, the bed was a little wavy. You can see the supports that's in between the supports. So they probably hauled some heavy stuff in it. You know, a lot of old pickups, you know, get wavy back there, but you can see the supports. You know, everything looks good. You know, it's just from the metal, you know, hauling loads and different things. Probably hauled gravel and, you know, furniture and different things. So overall, I hope that gives you a good look at it underneath. You know, it's actually pretty nice. The floors look good. You know, it's not absolutely perfect, but perfect for a driver. You don't see these very often, like I'd mentioned before. Just a really unique rig. So if you got any questions, give me a call. Would love to answer them for you, and then you can make comments on Bring a Trailer. This is actually, I think, the first Champ they've had on there for auction, so I'm glad I got to present one and talk about it. So anyways, have a good day.